Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to Valorant News and loads to dive into today. Some roster drama, some baiting also going down on the timeline, but lots of talk about the North American scene in terms of buyouts, Tarik having some words for the players and how they should deal with agents going forwards. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, hitting the like button is the best thing you can do. Top this channel reach new people. Please do subscribe as well if you have not yet already. Loads of new subs the last few days. Just love to see it. First of all, just a quick update really on this Rise Nation situation. We discussed yesterday, okay, what's going on here? Why do all the players want to leave? Like, what's the organization told them? They were talking about being in contract jail, effectively getting trapped in the organization, maybe wanting to leave and go elsewhere, but Rise looking to maybe sell them, but still, kind of a strange situation. Pretty much all the players on the rosters were getting involved yesterday. This also, like, what the Superman and Derek say right here, like, they're getting ready with the baseball bats, ready to fight their way out of this organization, seemingly, and, Shanks comes back in the reply like this, maybe indicating something also maybe going on here. But George Geddes kind of follows up, because yesterday we looked at this tweet saying that there's been organizations offers that have come through to buy them out from Rise, but they're trying to facilitate a deal, the organizational owners, but well, of course that hasn't really worked out so far. I kind of thought that yesterday maybe that's not the full story really here, because it doesn't really explain, if that's fully the case, why the players seem to be so frustrated. And as George Geddes goes on to say, there's more to be discussed still on this issue, but he effectively says, look, a lot of miscommunication between maybe the organization and the players, or the other way around. There's a lot more to unpack now that I've spoken to more players, so I'm more to follow on this at a coming date. So I guess I'll keep you guys updated on how that story is developing, and maybe they'll stay on Rise, maybe they'll go to another organization, tough to say, but yeah, still really interesting drama, frankly, before the season kicks off once again. This also to continue the Rostermania stuff from the Luminosity side, definitely trying to make some moves in the North American scene to keep things competitive going into 2022. This is the roster they're going into tomorrow's or maybe today's NSG event with. Tig, Dazzle, Moose, Marder. I've got B-Dog here as well, and the coach also. So, well, as you can see, this is what's happening here. They're playing Team Rocket, their first match of this kind of NSG Winter Championship Open 12 tournament going down today. And this is the roster they're going to be playing with. Tig, B-Dog, of course, was kind of recently confirmed to be potentially joining this roster. Dazzle, Marder, and Moose. So, nice team, honestly, on paper they've managed to put together here. Other things going on as well. From the Crazy Raccoon side, I thought was pretty interesting. We discussed a couple of days ago that Seoldam was meant to be joining this roster. Now, apparently, that's not the case anymore. Estelle is going to join Crazy Raccoons, at least according to Bodog right here. So, it seemed like they had their roster set in stone and ready to go. Lots of people were really excited about this Seoldam guy coming into this roster, but apparently that's not going to be the case. However, there has been some offers, apparently, that this player has received to go to the North American region. As, well, Bo goes on to continue with, I can confirm Seoldam was given numerous offers from NA organizations, but did not take any of them. We'd imagine because he thought he was joining Crazy Raccoons. Now, still, if those offers are valid at all, which maybe they're not valid anymore, maybe they've gone down other directions, but still, you can think a team like 100 Thieves, they still need a fifth player, right? So, of course, well, there's going to be some options there, maybe in some North American regions, to try and yoink some of these guys away from these other regions, and, well, maybe this is a player that could be in consideration. This also from Ghost Gaming, John QT and Brorg, those are kind of players in discussion the last couple of days. Ghost, it seems like they're going to sign them, so every single day there's way more roster stuff coming out all the time. Now, just to talk about this as well, because a few days ago, we talked about, well, quite a while ago now, we talked about 7 to T1. It was a very realistic option. 16-year-old player right now on the 100 Thieves bench. There was some talk, is he going to be on the 100 Thieves starting lineup? Are they going to bring him in? Apparently, they didn't think he was ready for that, and, well, the move to T1 seemed to be happening. Now, since then, things have taken a turn. On the 20th of December, the rumor had it that it's fallen through and reached some complications for whatever reason, and now it seems like at the start of January, this move to T1 is officially off the table. Now, does this mean, of course, that 7 is going to stay on 100 Thieves and potentially join their starting roster? Is the reason why they run into complications was because, okay, 100 Thieves realize, okay, we don't really have a fifth player right now. Maybe we should keep 7 just in case. We do need a player to bring in from our sub bench into our starting roster at any point. Or is 7 to another organization possible? Or like did T1, well, for whatever reason, it fell through. Kind of interesting one. But still, 7, I guess, is going to stay on 100 Thieves. It's tough to say exactly, because I'm pretty sure George said at the time that it was by no means guaranteed. He might have even said it in the replies right here, that 100 Thieves has not asked for him to return as far as I'm aware. But of course, maybe those things have changed going into now. But still, kind of a strange one. Of course, as a result of this, which I thought was kind of entertaining, was that this automatic I stay. So this is kind of the classic tweet that Golden did, if you guys remember, on the Counter-Strike side. But as automatic says, I stay right here, kind of implying that he might be staying in at T1. Of course, I imagine he's just straight up baiting here. We know he's going back to Counter-Strike, but still, still, Orty trying to say that he's staying because T17 isn't happening anymore. So kind of saying, yeah, I'm still going to be there. But, definitely means that they need some other options going into the season. So still many things to be confirmed on, certainly 100 Thieves and also the T1 side of things going into the new season, which I imagine will happen over the next couple of weeks or so. Now, I wanted to mention some interesting stuff as well in kind of the South American region. There was a lot of baiting going down from the KRU guys yesterday. cNed, for example, took like all of the KRU Esports stuff out of his bio, and it turns out he put it all back and he was just trolling. But if you guys saw any of that, I'm pretty sure that's not going to be the case. We'd imagine it wouldn't be the case. But speaking of KRU, their coach, of course, at Champions was none other than Owner, and we believed he was going to be joining at GenG alongside the kind of new roster they're building there in the Brazilian side. Now, interestingly enough, an article came out last night saying he may be deported from Brazil for not having an updated vaccination card. Of course, all of this stuff gets very controversial very quickly indeed, so I'm not really going to comment on it outside of just, talking about the facts as they seem to have transpired. But it seems like, it's going to be an issue, of course, for allowed to bring this guy in, and probably they're not going to go forward with it, at least as far as the article suggested, if this continues to be the case. Now, he did a few tweets kind of explaining his situation. Now, I imagine the translation here is not perfect, but as he describes, about to be deported from Brazil for not having the updated vaccination, card schedule thing. Freedom is not triumphing, is what he's saying here. And he continues with this: vaccines, especially in risk groups, are necessary and a good thing. Health passports, no. I'm willing to lose a job to be consistent with my beliefs. I will not give in. They will not break me. So, look, I'm not going to comment on this further than this. It's an interesting situation, no doubt. But, as a result of this, maybe he's not going to be the coach for GenG going into the upcoming season. But I wanted to mention this as well, kind of one of the big topics that has been discussed the last couple of days, especially in the North American region, the buyouts that a lot of these players are having to deal with. We saw especially some of the Saw guys, it was talked about with Cryocells, for example, going into XZ, that, he apparently had a pretty huge buyout, and maybe he didn't have a huge buyout, but at least there were some rumors about it, and plenty of other NA organizations seem to have massive buyouts on their players so that they can't really easily get picked up by another roster. Let's say you have a massive buyout, but, the team doesn't really want you in the roster anymore, they drop you to the bench, you're not really going to get picked up by another organization because the buyout is just going to be so big. Whether that's the case with Seven, that's another question. You can imagine that's probably not the reason why the situation fell through, but it could well have been. And this is what Tarik says: please stop signing to teams without a reasonable buyout. Organizations have no obligation to look out for your best interest. Do not be surprised. That's the thing, right? These organizations are generally going to do what's in their best interest, which makes sense, right? Because it's difficult enough to make a profit in esports as it is. But as Tarik says, look, be careful about who you're signing to and what's going on there. And there was also some talk from Ethan in reply to this. He basically said, yes, get an agent. It's worth it if you're a player. Think about your future, especially if you're young. Every pro player will tell you the first contract they signed were bad and they regret it. Don't make the same mistake many people have already made. So I think this is probably good advice in general. If your agent is good and your agent is actually looking out for your interests rather than their pockets, because I mentioned there's a lot of agents that take really high percentages of salaries and deals that they bring to you, and as a result of that, right, yes, you might get a better contract than you would have had otherwise, but you're giving away a lot of your salary to an agent, right? So big discussion really on this last night, but a lot of players saying, like, look, a lot of these organizations are being quite predatory with how they're dealing with some of these young players, especially, and players should, at least watch their own backs, right, in terms of signing some of these contracts that put them in situations where they can't easily get bought out by a better roster when they prove themselves to be a potential tier 1 caliber player. As Ye says, to follow up, be careful of agencies that take a high percentage of your salary. Anything like 10-15% of your annual salary is absolutely crazy, right? So some people are going to rip you off, but that's just how things are, I suppose, in the esports world. Things are certainly crazy. And just to finish off with this clip real quick from Rossi, because we believe TSM are going to confirm their roster relatively soon, with Corey and Rossi apparently joining the roster. But for whatever reason, even though we seem to have known this is going to be the case for a very long time, nothing as yet fully confirmed. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all these topics in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit in a like button and tell us the YouTube gods this is a good video. Others like you should see it as well, and help grow the competitive Valorant community. Thank you as always, take care, and I will see you next time.